to me, the greatest all-around player, all-around player that I have seen is Willie Mays.
And Mays is the best player that I've ever seen.
I rate Mays as the best all-around player I ever saw.
Willie Mays, the best player that I've ever seen, I think, or broadcast for it, all around, no question in my mind. And I was fortunate enough to be with the Giants when Willie Mays broke in. He came up from Minneapolis, been hitting, I think, about .476 there. They brought him into Shive Park in Philadelphia. He began to take batting practice. We were all standing around, and it didn't take a genius to know that Willie Mays was going to be a great ball player.
Willie also had another factor that a lot of people may not remember: leadership. Willie was a very good student of the game of baseball. He could also steal bases. Vinegar Ben Mizell, who later became Congressman Mizell, was an outstanding pitcher and a lefty. And yet Willie studied him so carefully and knew him so well that he could walk to second base on Mizell. It was kind of sad to watch the way that Willie handled Vinegar Ben Mizell.
He did start out rather slowly. He went 0 for the first 12. And then he got a base hit, and then he went 0 for another 12. Then they came back to the Polo Grounds, and Willie had a home run off Warren Spahn. And from then on, he was pretty much on his way. But Leo DeRocher called him in after he had slumped there in the early going and told him, said, "Don't worry about it, Willie. No matter what happens, you're going to be my center fielder. So just relax and play your game."
Well, who was any better defensively in center field than Willie Mays? Nobody. He could go back on the ball. He could charge a ball. He came in at Fenway Park here in '52 or '53 for an exhibition game for the Jimmy Fund. He and Pearsall had a throwing contest, and Pearsall hurt his arm for the rest of his career in that exhibition game. This guy had an arm, boy, I mean, he had a rifle for arm. He was very accurate. You didn't take an extra base on Willie Mays.
Willie Mays made some great catches, and I think the one that Willie thinks is the greatest he ever made. In fact, he told me that he thought so. And it happened in Pittsburgh in the early 1950s when I was broadcasting for the Giants. Rocky Nelson, a left-hand hitter, hit a line drive to left center field. Willie was playing center field. He saw he couldn't get it with his glove, so he reached out and caught that hard line drive with his bare hand. And he came into the dugout, and being a rookie, he got a little cold shoulder from his teammates who were kidding him about it. And he couldn't understand why nobody was giving him the applause and the adulation that this sensational circus catch deserved. So finally, he was beside himself, and he walked over to the end of the dugout to Leo DeRocher's manager. And in that high, squeaky voice, he said, Leo, he said, "Didn't you see that? I just made a great catch." And Leo paused a little bit, then he looked up and he said, "Willie, I didn't see it. Go out and do it again next inning."
Mays was just a tremendous player. He turned the World Series in 1954 around with one catch.
Well, Russ Hodges and I did that World Series together for NBC, and I happened to be on mic when Mays hit that ball. The pitcher was a little lefty from Mount Carmel, Illinois, named Don Little. And the batter, of course, was Vic Wirtz. That's hit. It's deep. It's way deep out there. It's going to go. It's way out there. Mays is on his bicycle, but he caught it. I called it an optical illusion. I said, I don't believe he really caught it. I think I imagined it. But Mays, I'll tell you something, he caught up with that ball somehow, just somehow. That had to go in the books, and I guess is still considered the #1 catch in World Series history.